Hey everybody, Nate here from WASD20. Welcome back to another episode of D&D Short Swords. This is a series where I just give you short, sharp, and pointed tips and inspiration for your tabletop role-playing game. And this topic today is related to preparation and improv for new Dungeon Masters especially. I got a question on how to play D&D Part 1, which is a video that tends to attract a lot of newcomers. And I'll put a link to it right up there in case you haven't seen it, but I assume most of you have. The comment was from Mark K, and he was asking a question about the first NPC, a fisherman, that Erdon, the player character, encounters in the adventure. And he asks this: so the fishing man, if the player wanted to attack the man, what would happen? How would the DM decide his AC or his attack and all that? And that's a really great question that gets at, I guess, the heart of some of the questions new DMs have about how does this all work? How does it all come together in a way that flows smoothly when you get down to running the game? And there are three basic options that I see for how you can handle a situation like this. First off, I want to say that players will do this. If your players have never done this and you've been running D&D for a while, that something is wrong there, because players want to test the waters. They're going to do the unexpected. They're unpredictable, and I think that's a good thing. By the way, I think that it makes the game more fun. So I don't want to say, I want to make sure you know that you should expect this from players, and you should embrace this and have fun with it from your players. But there are three basic ways that I can see you dealing with this. One is to have a full stat block ready for every single non-player character. This is not a method I recommend, but it's a method that some DMs use. By full stat block, I mean all of the ability scores, all of the information like initiative, armor class, hit points, attack bonus, attack damage, all this stuff. Everything that you would have ready for the monsters you're going to be running in a given session, right? That is a valid option. Some DMs do it, but I would argue that it is not the best use of your time. I think that a more improvisational style would serve a game well. Now, that's maybe a stylistic thing, but I think most DMs would agree with me, and I think there are very few DMs that actually go that far of preparing every single NPC stat block. I could be wrong on that, but that's my perception from the DMs that I've played with. A second option would be kind of a middle ground between no prep and full prep, and that is have some resources at your disposal ready in case something like that happens. So having certain pages bookmarked with some commoner stats in one of the core books, or print them off online, some NPC stat blocks, and just kind of having those in your DM binder or near your DM screen or whatever, ready to go just in case something like that happens. A third option would be to just completely make it up on the spot. And that's what I usually do. For a commoner like this, once you get a feel for the game and the mechanics and stats of characters, it becomes quite easy to do. Although I completely understand that being intimidating for a first-time DM and, a lot of uncertainty there, I guess, for a new DM. Still, once you get a feel for how the game works and you've run a few monsters and sessions and you get a feel for how the stats work and how challenging things are for your players, I think that making it up is not a big deal at all. It's something that a lot of us do. Some people even do it for all their monsters, actually. But let's take this commoner. Let's take the fisherman, for example. Probably going to have an AC, an armor class of 10. Let's say he just has a dagger at his belt. I'm going to assume he's not going to be whacking these guys with his fishing pole. But he has a dagger. It's 1d4 damage. I would say his attack bonus is maybe like a +1. And then it's just 1d4 damage. Pretty easy. Maybe he's got 16 hit points, right? You can kind of decide how challenging you want to make it, or how strong or dexterous, how old this person is, how skilled this person is. But it's not that hard just to make it up. So there's the full stat block. I am prepared for every single one. There's the I'm not going to prepare it on. I'll just completely make it up on the spot. And then there's the middle ground of having some pages bookmarked, printed, ready to go. And I usually do the make it up on the spot, but sometimes I do look something up if I'm thinking, okay, Captain of the Guard they attack. That gets a little more challenging, and maybe I'll look that up. But even that you can make up pretty easily. So let's take Captain of the Guard. Captain of the Guard, 18 armor class. He's got a shield and a long sword, 28 hit points, 1d6 plus 4 damage, plus 6 to hit. Or maybe it's, anyway, it totally depends, right? How old is this person? How experienced are they? How in shape are they? Are they kind of sit back and let the other guards do the work? Or are they very active and fit and still training? All that stuff is stuff you would want to consider. But it's really not that hard to make stuff up on the spot once you get used to it. So I recommend, yes, start by maybe having some things ready. And you'll get a feel for it as you go. When you actually run a game, what have you found is worth your while in preparing? And those things that you haven't found very worth your while and you just haven't ended up using during the session, stop doing those things and slim it down until you're getting to a point where you're not wasting any time in prep, but you're spending your time doing only what you need to do to run a good game. I also do recommend a book. I'll put a link to it down in the description below. The Lazy Dungeon Master by Sly Flourish is a classic. It is a staple of this sort of mindset of having certain things ready to go and preparing a little bit so that you don't have to do very much prep. So anyway, I'd love to hear from you, especially if you are a veteran player. What do you think? What advice would you give to new DMs on this matter? But I will say that, plan on your players doing this sort of thing, doing the unexpected, and they'll even, not only will they attack NPCs that you didn't expect them to attack, but they're going to go places you didn't plan on them going. All of a sudden, they want to go to a tavern for a drink, and I don't have a tavern ready. Guess I got to make up a tavern. Pretty soon, I've got a bartender, I've got patrons. All of a sudden, I've got 8 NPCs I just made up. There's no way that you can prepare for that. So get used to being comfortable improvising. And have fun with it. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. And everybody take care. You'll see me again very soon.